While everybody's obsessed with figuring out how to spot out quiet millionaires, I want to actually talk about how they got rich to begin with. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing the 9 habits of the quiet rich that you can use to become wealthy. So let's hop in. So the first habit of quiet millionaires is that they invest more than they save. Now here's where most people get it wrong when it comes to building wealth. They think that in order to build wealth, you have to save your way there. But quiet millionaires and the quiet wealthy do the exact opposite. They understand that their money is more valuable and is working for them more when they invest versus saving. So think about it this way. If you have money in a savings account that yields about 4% annual percent yield and depreciation is right at 3 to 4%, at the end of the day, your money is practically net zero. You're not making anything from your money. And in some cases, you may actually be losing money. And this is what the quiet wealthy understand. They know that investments are going to outpace depreciation. So they put more of their money in something that's going to appreciate in value versus depreciating in value. And that's why they invest more than they save. Now, I don't want you to get it confused. You do need to save money. You need to make sure you have money in an emergency fund, and you need to have cash available in case of emergencies or in case you need it. But once you've done the foundation of saving money for emergencies or other expenses, you need to start investing so that your money is working for you. And this is a habit that the quiet wealthy do. They understand that their money can work harder for them when they're investing versus just saving. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, the next habit of the quiet wealthy is that they use tax laws to their advantage. Now, before you get worked up thinking they're doing something illegal, they're not. They're legally using tax laws to their advantage so that they can reduce their taxable income. Here's the thing that they understand. They know that their taxes are the biggest expense that they have. So they're going to leverage tax laws to lower their taxable income. So you'll see them doing things like maxing out their 401k or IRAs, owning businesses so that they can write off legitimate expenses, and also structuring their income through pass-through entities like LLCs and S Corps that offer tax advantages. So let's say you earn $100,000 a year and you decide to max out your 401k at $23,500. When you do that, your taxable income is reduced to $76,500 versus $100,000, which means you're paying way less in taxes. And this is the one thing that the quiet wealthy understand and take advantage of. Now, another thing that they are taking advantage of are writing off business expenses. So if you have a side hustle, if you have a freelance business, you can leverage this same strategy to begin writing off things like your car mileage for business expenses, your cell phone, your internet bills, some of your utilities, and even parts of your home. These are all strategies that quiet wealthy people are using to reduce their taxable income so that they are reducing the amount that they have to pay in taxes each and every year. Now, the great news is that you don't have to be rich to take advantage of these tax laws. You can literally max out your 401k or as much as possible to reduce your taxable income. And then you can also open up a side business, start a side hustle, start a freelance business that will allow you to be able to write off some of the everyday expenses that you use in your home, but would also leverage for your business. Now, I'm not trying to get you in any trouble. I'm not a CPA or a tax strategist, so I highly recommend getting in touch with a CPA or tax strategist to help you navigate these tax laws to your advantage. Now, with that said, although I'm not a tax strategist or CPA, I am a certified financial educator. So if you are new here, I'm the creator of Mama and Money. I'm a certified financial educator and author of the book Dump Debt and Build Bank, which you can grab by scanning the QR code or commenting book below. Now, speaking of secret strategies of the quiet rich, the quiet wealthy know how to find free money and leverage it to build their own wealth that most people are leaving on the table. So the next habit of quiet millionaires is that they leverage free money to build wealth. A lot of quiet millionaires are actually employees, but one thing that they have done that their coworkers haven't figured out is they learn how to leverage free money from their employer and other places in order to build their wealth. So they're not just relying on their 9-to-5 salary, but they're taking advantage of things like 401k matches, HSA matches, stock purchase plans, and things like tuition reimbursement. They know how to take free money that's available to them that most people are leaving on the table. So let's do some math so that you can really see how they are able to build wealth this way. So imagine that you make $60,000 in your annual salary and your employer is willing to match 50% of your contributions into your 401k up to 6% of your salary. So if you're making $60,000 and you contribute $3,600, which is 6% of your salary, to your 401k, they're going to match you $1,800 for that year. That is $1,800 a year that is going into your 401k and growing over the years that you essentially got for free just by being an employee. So this is not bonus money. This is money on top of the salary that you're already earning. If you take that $1,800 over 30 years at a 10% return rate, which is typical of the market, that's going to equate to over $300,000 in money that you got for free. That's money that you didn't have to earn. That's money that you did not have to trade hours and time for. This is free money that you can leverage to build wealth. And that's exactly what quiet millionaires are doing every single day in cubicles all around the world. And here's the mistake that the average person is making. They're trying to find 10 different side hustles that they can do that would equate to the $1,800 instead of just taking advantage of the free money that's available to you with your employer. So if you have not taken advantage of your employee benefits, which is literally free money, do so. Use that money to begin building wealth, just like the quiet wealthy are doing. Speaking of investing, the next thing that quiet millionaires are doing is investing for long-term growth. So here's the reality. You probably won't see quiet millionaires or the quiet wealthy day trading or investing in crypto. They are looking for long-term sustainable growth that they can build over 10, 20, 30, or even 40 years. So they're investing their money in things like index funds, ETF, real estates, and retirement accounts. So when the market does dip, they're not scrambling or panicking, thinking they're about to lose their money. Instead, they're very calm and they're actually buying up more shares at what they would consider a discount. The quiet wealthy are playing the long game, knowing that they are going to let compound interest work in their favor over the next 10, 20, 30, or even 40 years. And here's the thing, you don't have to be an investment expert to do the same thing. You can literally invest in index funds and as simple as your retirement account to begin taking advantage of this long-term investment strategy that the quiet wealthy are leveraging. So if you haven't started investing, the first step is to actually start contributing to your retirement account. But beyond that, you can open up a brokerage account and start investing in index funds and ETFs that will help you build wealth sustainably and consistently over time. Now, here's another habit that the quiet wealthy are leveraging that most people are sleeping on, and that is they master one skill and build wealth around it. Contrary to what social media shows us, you don't have to be some influencer or some marketing guru in order to build wealth. And that's one thing that the quiet wealthy have to their advantage. They are very unassuming. It's the person that you least expect that actually has the most money. It's the engineer, it's the accountant, it's the electrician, it's the small business owner who has the most boring business that you could ever imagine. It's usually not the glamorous careers or the glamorous businesses that are making quiet millionaires. It's the very niche down specific skills that people have mastered and that they have learned to monetize, whether that's been through a career or through a small business. So just think about this. An electrician could charge $150 an hour and at the end of the year have a $300,000 business. Now, if he's smart about the money, that money can be put into investments, and before you know it, you have a millionaire on your hands from a very specific skill that this person has learned to monetize. The same is true for any other profession. The reality is you don't have to be a lawyer or a doctor or some high-profile career person in order to build quiet wealth. You can build wealth as a teacher, as an engineer, as an accountant. You can build wealth by just being good at what you do and learning how to monetize that skill set. But once you begin monetizing that through a career or a small business, you have to be smart and leverage the other habits of investing and doing the things to maximize that income and money that you're making from that skill that you master. So pick one skill, master it, and from there monetize it so that you can start building wealth just like the quiet wealthy. Now, once they begin to build their income, here's one thing that quiet wealthy do that most people probably would not think about, and that is that they give generously. The wealthiest people that I know give more than most people make in a year. It's because they understand that if you give, you're going to receive. And the reality is that this is a principle that we find in the Bible. But whether you are Christian or not, there is a principle at work in the universe that says if you give, it'll be given to you. So the wealthy find ways to give, not only to be charitable and philanthropic, but also because it's a tax advantage as well. Nonetheless, they know how to give and to give generously. The point of being wealthy and even quietly wealthy is so that you can help others. And that's another advantage of quiet wealthy people, that they can give without having to share it with the whole world. They give quietly to charities, to churches, to philanthropies that they support and that they believe in. And this is how we are able to use our wealth to really make an impact in the world. Because at the end of the day, it's not about hoarding it. It is about using what we have, the wealth that we built, to be able to make the world a better place. So one thing that quiet wealthy people are doing is giving generously, but also quietly. Now, this next habit is often synonymous with the quiet wealthy, and that is the fact that they do not keep debt. They understand that debt is the one thing that will hinder you from building wealth. And they often live by this rule: if they cannot afford it, they will not buy it. And so you won't see them with a car note or a huge credit card bill every month, or even a mortgage. If they haven't already paid off their mortgage, they're probably aggressively paying it off, because they understand that the money that they're putting toward interest is money that they could be using to build compound interest in their own investments. So they do their diligence to pay off debt as soon as possible. Now, I can attest to this fact that you are able to build wealth so much easier when you do not have debt. When you are not putting your income toward paying off debt, a credit card bill, a mortgage, or a car, you're able to then invest that money and invest more aggressively to build wealth faster. So that is one thing that the quiet rich and the quiet millionaires understand. Debt is going to hinder your wealth building. Now, I have several videos on my channel talking about my own experience of paying off over $300,000 in debt that you can check out. But more importantly, I would encourage you to grab my book, Dump Debt and Build Bank. That book is going to give you a step-by-step of how my husband and I were able to become 100% debt-free. So just scan the QR code or comment book to grab your copy. Now, here's the thing. They understand that it's not just about getting out of debt, it's staying out of debt. And so the next habit of quiet millionaires is that they budget every dollar. Listen, the budget spreadsheet that you are dreading is literally the thing that is building everyday millionaires. The quiet wealthy, the quiet rich, they are literally taking account for every dollar that's coming in and every dollar that's going out. And they are allocating and assigning a purpose to every penny, whether that's going to be for investing, whether it's for saving, whether it's for paying off debt, or if it's for discretionary spending. There is a assignment for every penny that comes in and out of their possession. You cannot build wealth if you don't know where your money is going. And unfortunately, for the majority of people, they do not know where their money is going. They just simply guess, thinking they spend this amount of money, when in reality, they don't really know. But the wealthy always have a plan for their money, and that's how they're able to build wealth. Now, if you aren't currently budgeting, then I would definitely recommend that you start budgeting today. There are so many resources on this channel to help you get started, but this is going to be the foundation for you to be able to build wealth by simply knowing where your money is going and properly allocating it into wealth generating activities. I promise you, once you start budgeting, your financial life will completely change. So be sure to check out the videos on this channel to help you get started. Now, the most important habit of quiet millionaires and the quiet wealthy is that they start early. These are people who decided to invest when they were 20, 30, maybe even 40 years old, and they've been able to reap the benefits of starting early and taking advantage of compound interest. Now, here's the reality. You may be watching this now and you may be in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s and beyond, and you may think it's too late, but here's the great news for you. Yes, yesterday was the best time to start, but today is the second best day to start. If you have not started investing, if you have not started implementing the habits that I shared in this video, today is the best day to start. And that's what wealthy wealthy people understand. They take advantage of the now, knowing that it's going to benefit them in the future. Here's the thing, time is your greatest asset when it comes to building wealth. The person who starts investing at 25 is going to be able to compound way more than the person who starts investing at 35. Time is your greatest asset, which means if you haven't started, you need to start today so that you can take advantage of time. So yes, there are people who built wealth beginning in their 20s, but there are also people who have built wealth starting later in life by taking advantage of these habits and starting today. So start today if you haven't started already. It's not too late unless you never get started. So these are 9 habits of quiet millionaire, the quiet rich, the quiet wealthy. These are the 9 habits that they are doing to build wealth and what they have used to build wealth. So the great news is now that you know, you can start implementing these same money habits into your own life so that you can begin building wealth and becoming the next quiet millionaire. Now, there's nothing special about these people except they started and they remain consistent. So get started today implementing these money habits so that you can begin building wealth. Now, to help you start implementing these habits, I'm going to leave some resources for you to check out in the description of this video, from budgeting to paying off debt, all the way to investing. So be sure to check out the description to take advantage of those resources. I want to know, which habit are you starting with? Drop it in the comments below. I respond to every comment. With that, don't forget to check out the resources in the description and this next video. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.